Hi everyone, it's Music Broth volunteer and singer Andrea here for part 2 of your singing lesson from my bedroom to yours. Yesterday we learned a lot about the cornerstones of a good warm-up: cardio, massage, stretching and breathing techniques. Today I'm excited because we're finally going to work on our first vocal exercise. Hopefully you've all taken the time to properly warm up your body, but if you've not, you can pause the video right now and go through those exercises. I mean it, because it's really going to help you get a good foundation to work from when we're going into the exercises that we're going to do over the next few days. It's okay, I'll wait. Firstly, we're going to remind ourselves where the diaphragm is again with one of those super gentle coughs, just to identify the muscles that we're going to be working with. And obviously safety first, into the elbow. So you can feel it here in your tummy. You can put your hand on your stomach again, just so you can identify it. And we're going to do a really super gentle cough. We don't want to hurt anything here. And you'll be able to feel it right here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to try yawning. Now, you might not be able to yawn on command, and we've said before, a lot of vocal training is doing silly things with your faces, but approximate it. So the big deep breath, wide mouth, open throat. Let's try it all together, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So let's try that again, but this time I want you to notice how you expel the breath with your diaphragm. So when you take a deep breath in, when you yawn, you might not notice it, but you actually tend to use your diaphragm to push that air out. The other thing I want you to notice when we do our next yawn is see the feeling in your throat after you finish the yawn. So when we're yawning, the throat's open, it's nice and open, and then it's relaxed. It's open, but it's relaxed, you know? So we want to kind of get the best of both worlds here. That's what we want. A nice relaxed throat, not tense and trying to force notes out. So we're concentrating on how we're using our diaphragm to expel the breath and how we have a relaxed throat and jaw after we finish yawning. So we'll do another yawn on 3. 1, 2, 3. That's good. We'll try one more. Great. Today, our main exercise is going to be one used by hundreds of singing coaches all over the globe, and it's called lip bubbles. They're a bit hard to say, but lip bubbles are a great starting technique for all singers because 1, they're super hazy to get, but can take a lifetime to master. 2, they're great at helping you achieve that nice and relaxed throat that we're talking about. And 3, it's a great exercise for you to explore the upper registers of your voice without harming yourself. So the real point of it is about pushing the air with your tummy muscles and not with your throat. So stand up tall, shoulders back and down, arms can be relaxed by your side, or if you'd like you can put one on your tummy to monitor that you're breathing correctly. And we're just going to do a not a and not a but it's going to have a note to it. So it's a nice relaxed lips, big breath. That's great. So you can try this at home. This is a really great exercise. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pick a note that you're really comfortable singing, usually in the lower register, probably nearer what your natural speaking voice is. So when I'm not presenting, a lot of times my speaking voice is very low, so I try and keep my voice up and elevated to get you all excited for doing the singing lesson. But normally if I'm just kind of hanging about the house, I'll be like, hello, how's it going? Alright. So I can do a it's a nice easy note for me to do. We're not trying to reach for the highest note right now. We're just trying to find one that we're really comfortable with, and usually whatever one that you're talking, the kind of register that you're talking in, that's where you want to go. So we're going to do what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can hold the for 4 beats. What we're going to do is we'll do a count of 4 first before we start, and on the 4th beat, the last beat before we start, I want you to take a big deep breath and make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to inflate that belly, okay? So we'll try it. 1, 2, 3. Great. Next thing, we're going to do the same thing and we're going to do it for a count of 8. Now the aim here, again, as I said, is to use our diaphragm to give you that nice, long and even exhale. You know, we want to make sure that we're staying at the same pitch. We want to say that we're staying at the same volume. We don't want to sound like boy racers, like, because that's not us being in control of our breath. So we're going to try it again. We're going to do a brr for 8. We'll do a 4 beat count before that, so you have time to get a nice big breath in. So 1, 2, 3. Great. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this nice relaxed throat when we're doing this, and sometimes that can take a bit of practice. You don't realise that you're tensing when you're doing singing, and that's why I said in my earlier video that I felt like I'd not actually been singing properly and really thinking about how I was using my body to sing up until a few years ago. So this is going to take a lot of practice, and that's fine. I'm still mastering it when it comes to singing. Give yourself time to do it, but it's as I said, it's a really easy kind of entry level technique for you to get yourself into, but it can take a long time for you to master and feel like you can do it off the top of your head. So if you do feel yourself tensing up, you can come back, do a second or third jaw and chin massage just to give yourself that kind of reset to be like, right, okay, my throat's nice and relaxed, we're going to do it. So you can give yourself a little shake as well and start again. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another count of 8 of the lip bubbles. But what I want you to think about is, again, we're wanting to make sure our throat's nice and relaxed. We want to know that it's not going to change whether we move our face side to side. And again, we're not going to get that boy racer motorcycle kind of sound. Let's be nice and even all the way along. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move my body this way. You can do it at home by just moving your head, but obviously I don't want to do that because then my face will be away from the microphone and it will sound like I'm doing a different noise. So the idea is we want to keep the sound the same, and the idea is that this is going to sound nice and effortless. So we're going to do another lip bubble. We're going to do an 8 count of lip bubble. We'll count in for 4 first again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Great. Now again, this is a great technique for so many different reasons. And another one that I really like it for is again, I said, is great for breath control. Being able to understand that you can hold a note for a long time is really, really important, because when you're singing, sometimes you don't always want to be every 2 seconds taking a breath. And again, when we said that in the other video, sometimes it's then hard if you're taking loads and loads and loads of inhales for you to actually fully exhale. And this is a really good way for you to do that as well. So we're going to do it again, but we're going to do, and bear with me, and it's okay if you don't get this the first time, we're going to do a count of 16. So 8 and 8 of the lip bubbles. Now, I know what you said, you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do this. If you can't and you're finding the 8 a struggle, that's fine. Keep working on doing the 8 counts, but if anybody else out there is feeling like, right, okay, I can do 8 counts and want to kind of push myself a little bit more, then we can do it with 16. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the last 2 beats before we start, to give ourselves enough time to get enough breath in as possible, because that's what you really want to do. So we're going to count to 4, and on 3 and 4 I want you to take a big deep breath, and then we're going to do the lip bubbles for 16 counts. So you ready? Okay, so 1, 2. Great. And that's you on your way to learning how to properly control your breath and be able to hold really lovely long notes. As I said, all of the techniques I'm showing you, including the lip bubbles, help make your singing sound effortless, help you become a more consistent singer. And as I said, this is a really great entry level exercise for you to do. So now we've learned the 1 note lip bubble, we're going to move on to the sliding up and down. So the reason we do this is often when we're singing a song where melodically it'll go up and up and up and up and up, we start to tense our bodies. We start breathing from our chest and we start tensing our shoulders, our throat, because we're worried about getting to that top note. Especially, it's one of those things when you're a singer that when you think about some of the greatest singers of all time, you think of the ones who can reach those amazing high notes. But in reality, so many great singers out there, like Nina Simone, are great singers without having to do that, but they're still able to make their singing sound effortless. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide. So we're going to still do the lip bubbles, but we're going to do. So we're going to start up a little bit and go. Sorry, we're going to do that again. Take a proper breath, because you can tell when you've not taken a proper breath, you'll be breathless. You won't be able to fully realise the notes that you're doing. So it's a nice little dip. And it's easier because usually when we're doing songs, they're going up and up and up. If you start at the top and you can go down, it kind of gives you a little bit. It's a little bit easier way for you to go. So we can do that a few times. You can do. And again, we're wanting to try and keep that as even as possible. We don't want to go or be louder at the start and quieter at the end. We want to try and keep it as even as possible. One. So we'll try one together. 1, 2, 3. That's great. So the next one we're doing is we're going to try and slide up the way. Now this one can sometimes be intimidating because you really do feel like you're like on a roller coaster when you're going up, chugga 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 chugga, and you're going to drop down. The best thing that I've found, one of the techniques that I've picked up is a great one, which is when you're going sliding up. When we get to go to the top note, we're just going to bend our knees a little bit. So you're going to do a. When you do that the first time, you will find that your volume stays the same and then goes up a little bit when you do the up, but that's a great reason why we do it, because it helps again teach you how to control your breath. So we'll do it again. We'll do it together. We'll do a count of 4 beforehand, and then we'll do it together. We're going down, we're being low, and then going up. And when we go up, we're going to drop our knees a little bit. So the idea is just kind of to distract your brain from going up there, because you're thinking about the best time for you to drop your knees. So we'll try it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you're going to keep practicing this to try and keep the tone, keep the volume even. And again, it's really, really going to help you when it comes to your singing and the tone of your singing, and again being able to explore different sounds. It's quite funny when I'm doing this at home. Sometimes my flatmate will do a kind of call and response with me sometimes, because I'll be around my house going and she'll kind of call out and be like so it's good. It's a good laugh anyways. And you can, the idea is as well that we need to remember when we're doing these exercises is that, especially when we move on to the one that we're going to do next, you don't want to strain your voice in a daily workout. If you're wanting to work on reaching higher notes, or you're doing a particular song where there's a note that you really feel like you need to reach but you've not quite got it there, that's a separate type of technique that you're going to be doing. That's you want to spend a little bit of time with that. But in terms of your daily vocal practice, what we really want to do is just get you warmed up. We're not looking to try and strain yourself. And a lot of times when you've not gone through the kind of fundamentals and foundation of learning how to sing properly, learning about your breathing, learning about relaxing your throat, you're going to do more damage to yourself, and you're not going to be able to reach those notes. So when we're doing these exercises, remember, keep within your limits. If you feel like your throat is starting to hurt, take a break for 5 minutes. The idea is if you can do these simple exercises for 5 minutes a day, it's going to help improve your singing. So we've mastered the one note lip bubble, we've mastered sliding up and down. Now we're going to go on to what most people would consider as a little bit more of a traditional idea when we talked about what is vocal practice, doing scales. We're going to do scales with the lip bubble, right? So some of you who do music practice, or some of you who've sang before, might know and understand what scales and arpeggios are. If you've not, don't worry, we're going to do a quick explanation, right? So I've got a piano here with me. This is my lovely Casio, and all these white notes along the piano all have alphabetical names. So we'll start off with an easy one, because it doesn't have any sharps and flats, and you don't need to worry about yourself about that just now if you're not playing instruments. If you're just wanting to do scales in terms of so that you can learn how to sing, then you don't need to know that much about music theory. So we'll start with a C. So on our piano we've got a C here. If we were to do a scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So in music, the letters go from A to G and then they repeat again. Depending on how big your piano is how many times that will repeat. When you're going from one C to the next C, the Same note, but an octave higher. That's what we call that gap between these two notes. It's an octave. A great way for you to remember that is if you remember the song Hi Ho from Snow White. Hi ho. That's an octave. And that's what we call that. So it means that there's 7 notes in between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 notes in an octave. And when we do that, da 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 da, that's what we call a scale. Now, the notes will change depending on whether you're starting on a C or if you're starting on a G. But that's the basic idea of a scale, is that it's scaling up the way and then usually scaling down the way. Now, when we're doing vocal practice and we're doing specific techniques like the brr or like ones we're going to learn later on, there's a few different ways to approach it. We can do the full scale, which is da 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 da. That's a scale, right? So imagine that's notes 1 to 8. You can also do kind of a halfway scale, which is, that's another way that you can do it. There's different pros and cons from doing each of them. I'd say it's more important when you're again trying to do that training to learn how to do higher notes. That's when you'll use different scales and arpeggios, and you'll use different, either doing 5 notes or doing 8 notes, depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve. But for the purposes of today's lesson, I'll show you the 3 kind of main ones: the full scale, the first 5 notes, and then the arpeggio, which is basically notes. If you imagine the notes from C to C are labelled out with numbers underneath, it's 1, 3, 5, and 8. Right, that's an arpeggio. So you can use, depending if you've got a piano at home or if you've got a guitar at home or any instrument at home, you'll be able to know how to do what we call pitched practice, which is practicing doing these vocal techniques to a pitch, to a note. If you've not, there's loads of apps online and YouTube videos as well. A lot of the singing tutors that I watch on YouTube have got a space at the end of their videos where they'll have scales being played and you can just sing along with them. So that's really great. If you want to do it on your own, easiest thing to do is just pick your starting note. So we're going to do a scale of brr. And again, you can pick what register you're at, like what pitch you're at. You can pick what you're comfortable with, because again, the most important part when we're just doing our daily vocal warm-up is that we're warming up our voice. We're not trying to strain our voice. We're not trying to reach high notes that we've maybe not been able to reach before. That's not the game. The aim of the game is to try and get your voice warmed up and ready for you to sing. And using the lip bubbles is a great way, again, to explore the upper register that you maybe wouldn't be doing when you're trying to reach high notes. But again, remember that if you're doing any of these at home, make sure that if your throat starts hurting, if you feel like you're straining, stop. You can go down a little bit, you can go down and a scale further down, or you can stop halfway. You can do the half scale, because that's totally fine, and that's something that we'll be able to work on. So we're going to do the lip bubbles together, and we'll just do the half scale just now. And what we're going to do is, again, trying to remember to keep our breath control, keeping our throat nice and relaxed, and trying to keep a sustained breath. So we'll do yeah, da 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 da, but with our lip bubbles. Okay, so let's try it together. And again, we'll do a count of 4. On the last beat, before we start, take a deep breath. Make sure you're inflating your tummy. So let's try that together. 1, 2, 3. Great. The idea is that to be honest, I can do it from my head as well. But it's good to be able to have just a little bit of a reference for when you're doing the scales. So try it for maybe, we'll try 5, right? We'll try 5. We're going up every time a little bit. So we're starting on C. And again, if you find this too high or you find it too low, you can move to another part. That's not the important part. The important part is whatever pitch you're doing it at, trying to stick to the notes, and then also all the other things that we've talked about when it comes to doing a correct lip bubble. So let's try. 1, 2, 3. That's great. So that's you on your starting journey for doing vocal exercises. And again, you can do the half scale, you can do the arpeggio, or you can do the full scale to really, and that will also be a great way for you to figure out where your limits are, where your lower limit is, where your upper limit is in terms of like what pitches that you can sing at. It can also give you an idea of where you sound the best, because there's always going to be a part of the scale where you sound the best, and a part of the keyword, if you will, where you sound the best. So sometimes it's not about reaching the highest note, because sometimes it just a whole song would sound better if it was in a key that suits you, and that's just that's what it is. But what we can do is we can use these techniques to help us to create a more effortless and reliable singing voice, and that's what we're really here to do. So practice your lip bubbles at home. Tomorrow we're going to be back with a really fantastic episode. It's going to be jam packed. We're going to have not one, not two, but three new vocal techniques that we're going to bring to you. I hope you've had a lovely day. Make sure that you're subscribed to Music Broth on Facebook and Instagram. If you really like what you heard from me, you can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at @Andrea Music. Hope you all stay safe. Keep on singing. Bye.